Welcome to Online Gravy.
There's too much sauce online for you to be broke.
What we gonna talk about, Omar? What we gonna talk about?
So this is Omar,
This is Elmer from Online Gravy.
and we have a blog that teaching you different ways to make money online. And the different thing about what we do versus what everybody else do is that you're in here with us.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the vehicle with us. You're not just a spectator on the sideline. You're part of our team. We're going behind the scenes and doing the dirty work, and you're doing it with us. So as we discover the new challenges, as we try to grow, as we try to build this, we're giving you play-by-play, front row seat to what it is we're doing. And one of those challenges now, one thing that just came up was, when is it time to start paying to market? We've been doing everything organically so far. We haven't been paying for nothing. We have been doing just free platforms that we can post. We post regularly. We post aggressively, and it's working. It's working. It's working really, really good. So we're kind of seduced by growing organically and watching it grow. But we realize from some of the research that we're doing from other successful blogs that if you don't start spending money on marketing, spending money to make money, so to speak, then you're going to plateau at a certain level. For example, we have a post that it'll go up 100% a day. But if you have 50 people that saw your post and then you have 100 the next day, because that's the area people you reach, then it's not very big versus you're promoting a post that you see, okay, this post has a lot of traction. Time for us to put some money behind it and let it continue the momentum. The amount of exposure that it gets, you're talking about thousands of people. So although we're here seduced by the fact and doing a lot of stuff organically and want to just stay organic as possible, we still have to, we realize that in order to explode the way we're trying to explode, we have to spend some money on these platforms that other bloggers are using. We have to run some ads. We have to start promoting what we're doing. And we feel comfortable doing that now because we have more content. We have more articles. We're getting good organic feedback that shows us that people are buying into what we're saying. They like what we're saying. So now we're just putting some firepower behind it to just accentuate what we're already doing, making it bigger, making it better.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I noticed with a lot of businesses and videos that I watch, they always talk about how you gotta spend money to make money, and that is true. And for a lot of you guys that are starting your own business, you're starting a blog, this is definitely something that you can do for free. You don't have to put pretty much any money into it if you know how to reach out to the right people to get your stuff done, or you get a good team. Because me and Omar haven't really put much money into this at all, and we've been doing everything free, and we've been doing this for a few weeks. So if you are watching this video, I know a lot of you guys are probably younger or you don't really have the funds to really put money into it. I actually don't even think you should even worry about that, because if you don't know if you don't have the funds to actually build your business through funds, you're actually in a pretty good position, because at that point you have no choice but to learn how to grow organically. And I feel like when you're growing a business, growing organically first, learning how to grow organically is number one thing you need to do. Don't ever start a business and do anything and just straight up just start throwing money into it, because you have to learn how to market yourself. You have to learn who you're targeting. You got to learn who actually enjoys what you're watching, are the people that you got to find your age group. Because sometimes, me and Omar, we're still in the process of trying to find out who we're who we're trying to target exactly. But we having a good idea. We've been working on the social medias and stuff like that, and so far, just by doing a couple changes, we literally tripled and doubled our growth in certain areas. So we are getting better, and we did a good job by not just throwing money into it.
Yep.
Especially because we didn't have any content at all. So it would have been a bad look if we would have just threw money into it and we didn't have anything to back up on it. We got one video up, but then they go on our YouTube and there's no videos up. So we want to make sure that we actually have some content to follow on just in case they want to scroll through our other stuff. So make sure before you start spending money on ads, especially if you can't really afford it, don't waste your money on ads. If anything, waste your not waste, but spend your money on maybe getting like a better camera or stuff that can like improve your quality, because that's really what's important. Because when somebody comes to your page, no matter how good your ad is, if they see a really good ad and they come to your other stuff and it's not good, it's gonna look like you just paid for the ad and that's all you care about.
Yeah,
it's gonna give you a bad look. So if you are in a position where you can't really afford to pay for ads, don't really worry about it, because you're actually, like I said, you're in a good position. You can actually learn how to grow organically. And the more that you learn how to grow organically, the easier it'll be to make the ads. Because I don't know if you guys ever set up an ad before, but they let you choose, the area. They let you choose like pretty much everything. You can dissect from who you want to give it to. You can have your ads sent to people in Africa. You can have your ads sent to people in Florida. You can always change it up. So, make sure you actually take a look at what you're doing, and make sure you look at your analytics. That's very important. Do not start no ads without looking at your analytics.
Yes.
Because if you don't look at your analytics, you are going to waste a whole bunch of money. Like, trust me, I spent ads I be watching these videos on YouTube, and they always say, bro, just spend ads and it's gonna make your money, your stuff gonna grow. It does not work like that. You got to look at that stuff. That stuff is very important. Like, literally, one slight change in like target audience or something like that can literally grow your business crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we went from what, like 400 impressions in a day, and when you change it, it went up to,
it's at 3,000 now.
Yeah.
And last week, and not even last week, yesterday it was at 2,400.
Yeah.
So like that's why I say don't go spending your money, because me and Omar could have decided, we got these stuff up, let's go spend some money on these ads. That would have been a whole bunch of wasted money. And probably even what we're doing right now might even waste a little bit of money. Yeah. But we just test stuff out. Like,
and we're going off of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason we're spending a little money now is because we made the changes. We see the results of the changes. Like, okay, it's picking up a little heat.
Yeah.
If we put a little firepower behind this, is it gonna continue to pick up? And if not, then we go back to a different strategy. But it's very, very important, as Elmer said, that like figure out what you're doing now, because we are in a different position this week than we were 2 weeks ago. And it's because we fixed so many things, and now that we see that we're getting a lot more traffic, we see that it's working now, that we feel like it's on the stage, that we can toss some funds behind it and see how more it grows. But don't just, as Elmer just said, spend money first and then say, I wasted a bunch of money and didn't work it. Like, tweak it. When you see it picking up traction, then you say, if you can afford to, as long as you can afford to go without spending on any money, go as long as you can afford to. But if you're in a position where you feel like, you know what, I'm going to put $50 behind this, I'm going to put $20 behind it. Because a lot of these places that you pay to promote on Google, Pinterest, and all that stuff, it's not, you can get like pretty cheap or pretty reasonable ads to just really test to see if it's going to make a difference. And again, a lot of the stuff we've been doing is trial and error. So we'll test a little bit of stuff. We'll post something different from the way that we usually post it. We'll post at different times of day. And then we're watching where every site, every platform, every website company have an analytic page. So there's no excuse. And if you're not measuring, if you're not testing, as you go along, you don't know what you're doing. Every site has an analytic page, and we've been looking at all the data, we've been looking at the information. And if it wasn't saying to us, hey, what you guys doing is working, we wouldn't even be considering putting a little bit of money, because we're not going to spend a crazy amount of money. We're putting a little bit of money behind it now to see the difference it makes, or if it makes a difference.
Exactly. Like Omar said, we just doing a bunch of trial and error. So, like I said, if you can't really put that much money into it, like I said, if you're going to spend money, at least spend it on investing in getting made, like I said, better equipment, something like that, because you do not want to go in there and buy them ads and you just wasting money. Like I said, you want to make sure that you actually know what you're doing, because learning how to market and learning how to, reach your audience is the most important thing you need to find out first. That's like number one thing when it comes to getting your name out there, is learning who you're trying to target. So me and Omar, we like throughout the week we just been tweaking little stuff. Like I said, we'll fix something up on the Pinterest, or we'll fix something up on the Instagram, and we'll see like, oh, this worked, this not working, this working, this not working. Like we just kind of picking up on little stuff like that. And I know as we get better, we're going to learn how to grow better organically. But if you do have the funds, it's very important that you do spend ads, because growing organically is really limits yourself, because we don't really have that many people to reach out to. We're kind of in a smaller city, you know what I mean? So it's not really that easy to just sit here and just grow organically. And even if we did, is at a certain point it's just going to like even out. It's just, we can't reach the people out in Canada. Like, it's people that in Canada that might be interested in what we're doing, but if we don't put no ads out there, how they gonna see us? So if you are able to afford ads, I say, don't put too much money into it, especially at first, because even the ad process, that's why we're not putting too much money into it, because the ad process itself is a trial and error.
Yep.
Because that, like I said, we're still trying to learn our audience. So if you do have the money to spend ads, put what you can afford. I'm not going to really put a number on it, because everybody have a different budget, but I will say definitely make a budget when you're advertising, because you don't want to spend too much. So maybe, if it's setting a weekly budget or a monthly budget, whatever it is, however you want to set it up, make sure you set a budget at first and stick with that budget. But while you're sticking with that budget, make sure that you're testing stuff out, because we were testing stuff out organically before we even touched the ads. So just like with the ads, I want you guys to, if you're starting the ads, make sure you like, okay, I see a lot of people that I reached out to in this ad, they came from Georgia. Maybe try to reach out to Georgia or something like that. Stuff like that. Make sure you pick up everything and break everything down, because that stuff is very important. Like, you want to make sure you maximize on your ads, because if you spend let's say you spend $100 on ads, you want to make sure you're just getting $100 worth and maybe even more. So, like I said, make sure you guys know who you're targeting. Make sure that you know that it's the right time to buy ads at first. Make sure you have your content up there, because, like I said, you want to grow organically first. You want to make sure you have stuff up there so people can look back on it. So make sure you know how to grow organically first. But once you get to a point where you're you did a good amount of trial and error, your stuff's starting to pick up. You're starting to know that your numbers are, in our situation, doubling and tripling literally. So if you're starting to see your numbers starting to slowly pick up, maybe throw yourself into some ads. And then if it doesn't work out for you, then, maybe try to learn your audience a little bit better. But if it does work out for you, trial and error with ads. See who is engaging more with your content, who what age group, what kind of people are into your stuff, because that stuff is very important. But I don't know if you had anything else to say.
Well, that's about it.
Yeah.
Learn what you're doing first. Know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you're targeting. Make sure it's working before you start spending money. Make sure it's working before you start spending money. But once you start working, if you have some money to spend, and it could be as little as $3, $10, $30, spend some money and see if it works. Because you can always, if you're like a really young person in high school that's doing this, or a college student that's broke, you can already, once you see that it's working and you spent say you spent like $30 to buy some ads, and you see the results that come back, you can always go to your parents and say, hey, look, this is working. If this pop off, you guys can help me less. I'll be making some money for myself. So make sure that it's working, so you can have that conversation with mom or dad or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever. Make sure that it's working, so that it's easier to have that conversation. Because you show them like, hey, I put the work into this. I know what I'm doing. Versus you spend $30. It didn't do anything. You wasted it. Now you're asking somebody for money, and they're like looking at you like, but you spent $30. You're just going to burn my $30 up,
Mm-hmm.
So just go with a plan. Plan out, say, this is what I'm going to do. Make sure you get it to where you want to go. And then put some money behind it if you can, which is what we're doing right now, because we've put in the work to get it to a place where it's working now. And we realize that if we just give it a little bit more push,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to go crazy. And we'll make a follow-up video to tell you guys what the results were before and after.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the first time we're paying for anything since we started. This is the first time all the growth that we've seen so far has been 100% posting, texting each other, changing articles, rewriting them to see if this is a better version. We completely, all our first posts on Pinterest, which I did, didn't go anyway. Elmer took over and said, "Hey, listen, let me, you know, I told you, let me do this, Mike. Let me do this." Man, like, for give you an example, my post sat up there for like almost 2 weeks, 400 impressions. Elmer like literally deleted all of them and reposted everything in one day, one single day. We're over 1,000 impressions one day. Now we're past. It's like 4 days now. We're past 3,000, and it's going over 1,000 a day on the impressions. So that's what some of the trial and error stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna wrap it up right here. The biggest thing I want you guys to learn from this video is that first, if you're gonna start buying ads, make sure that you learn how to grow organically first. Second, if you're going to buy ads, don't put too much money into the ads because most likely you don't really know what you're doing. So, make sure you do a little bit of trial and error. And third, I want you guys to pay very attention to your analytics because that is what's going to even help you even learn who to even attract. So that's really all I got to say for you guys. I would like for you guys to like, subscribe. Please leave some comments in the comment section. We are reading all the comments. And that's pretty much it, man. That's Elmer and Omar from Online Graving. We out.